What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the September 30th, 2023 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Matt Camp back in the studio with Megan Morant. They open up the episode discussing the two new Fastlane matches made official: John Cena and LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, and Io Sky defending the WWE Women's Championship against both Charlotte Flair and Asuka in a triple threat match next weekend. They recap the Austin Theory win over Cameron Grimes. We hear from Theory backstage afterward. He brings up his 150 million views. He goes, "Oh, Cameron Grimes doesn't have that, blah, blah, blah. Dragon Lee doesn't have that." And he says Dragon Lee will experience the Austin Theory something. He said he'll experience Austin Theory next week when they go one-on-one. Grayson Waller shows up and says, "Listen, I worked with Dragon Lee in NXT albeit for like 2 weeks. Dragon Lee showed up in NXT back in April, and they may have had a match before Waller left the SmackDown, but SmackDown got Waller, drafted Waller, like within weeks of Dragon Lee showing up. So they weren't really on the same brand for all that long. But anyway, he said, "Oh, I got a story about Dragon Lee I got to tell you," and that was it. They preview Dragon Lee versus Theory next week on SmackDown, and they recap Dragon Lee's busy 2 weeks. So Dragon Lee was on Monday's Raw this past week, challenging unsuccessfully for the NXT North American Championship against Dominic Mysterio. Great match. He was in a number one contenders 4-way that he lost on Tuesdays, NXT. He was on SmackDown on Friday. He didn't wrestle, but he was in the crowd, setting up this match for next week. He'll be at No Mercy tonight. He'll be on 4 WWE shows in the same week, all major shows, all of WWE's biggest shows this week: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and No Mercy. He's on all 4 of them. He's on the show tonight, again, not in action, but as a special guest ref for the Dominic Trick Williams matchup. He'll be back on SmackDown next Friday. I imagine NXT as well on Tuesday. They haven't announced that, obviously, but SmackDown next Friday against Austin Theory, and most likely in the 6-man tag team match at Fastlane next weekend with Rey and Santos Escobar against Bobby Lashley and the Profits. That is a very busy 2 weeks for Dragon Lee, and it does not seem like it'll be much longer before he's on the main roster, and I'm not complaining. Speaking of Grayson Waller, they recap, or rather replay, the entire Grayson Waller effect, or most of it anyway, with Bobby Lashley and the Profits and whatever. And they also recap the Mysterio Escobar United States Championship match that was won clean by Mysterio, but then the Profits attacked afterward. Bobby Lashley, when we hear from them afterward, Bobby and the Profits, they officially accept the LWO challenge for Fastlane. That was about it from Lashley and the Profits. That went all of like 30 seconds. So it is official. It's going to be Bobby and the Profits against any 3 members of the LWO. Whether it be, they said LWO, unless Dragon Lee is inducted as a member of the group, maybe an honorary member. It seems like, to me, Dragon Lee will be the 3rd guy. Maybe they want you to think it's Dragon Lee. Otherwise, why he's on SmackDown right now, I don't know. But it seems like he'll be on SmackDown next week, beating Theory and then teaming with those two. Because, again, he was there at ringside when Rey and Santos got attacked on Friday by Profits and Bobby Lashley. So it seems like he wants to help. It would make sense if he helped. Him and Rey have history from NXT a couple of weeks ago. It would make sense. It would be nice, and I said this in my SmackDown audio review earlier today, if they kind of threw us a curveball, made you think that it was Dragon Lee. Either he gets attacked or whatever, but it ends up being Carlito. We have not seen him back in WWE since he reportedly re-signed to the company a couple of months ago. We have not seen him at all. Does he still work there? I don't know. So that'd be a great spot for him, but it'll probably be Dragon Lee, and that is not a bad consolation prize, I'll tell you. That should be a great match. So they preview the 6-man tag team match for the pay-per-view. Matt Camp mentions that Bobby has not seen in-ring action on TV since May, when he lost to AJ Styles in the finals of the SmackDown side, anyway, that World Heavyweight Championship tournament. So it's been a long time, but he'll be back in the ring next Saturday. They recap the Charlotte Flair-Bayley match from Friday night, won by Charlotte Flair, of course. And they preview the Io Sky, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship at Fastlane. We hear from Damage Control quickly, and Bayley attempts to explain why she did what she did, accepting the match on Io's behalf, because it was just supposed to be apparently Io and Charlotte, and then Bayley had to go ahead and make it a triple threat, also involving Asuka. So Bayley says to Io here that, I did it. I made the match official because I knew that you're better than both women and that you can beat both women at the same time. And Sky says, well, I could have spoken for myself. And then she walks off. And they were all discombobulated and upset and whatever. So then they replay the final segment, LA Knight making the save for John Cena against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, making the tag team match official, like I said earlier. Matt Camp doesn't really think this is about the bloodline because Solo and Jimmy were out there operating like brothers, whereas Cena and Knight are not friends. So it will be an interesting dynamic come next weekend. But I thought it was a great segment, albeit predictable, but still played out perfectly. And then to close out the show here, they plug No Mercy, NXT's next major event for tonight on Peacock, which I will be watching and checking out. Should be a fun show. In addition to WrestleDream coming up tomorrow night. They don't mention that, obviously, but I'm just saying you should watch WrestleDream as well. It's a great weekend for wrestling. Pretty decent, straightforward edition of the SmackDown LowDown here. Hearing from the Prophets and Bobby in Damage Control and Austin Theory as well. Not as good as last week. This was kind of a step back. We don't really learn much, but again, they do confirm that it will be the Prophets and LWO, or rather Prophets and Lashley, against the LWO next weekend. Now made official, but you could probably already tell that from watching SmackDown on Friday night. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. Enjoy No Mercy tonight if you're watching, and WrestleDream tomorrow. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.